But you know what's extremely tough right now is the American League East. And I mean, it is the AL beast. And for every time you think that something's not going to be what it's supposed to be, hey, the Red Sox are going to finish last. Well, the Red Sox are still over 500. Every team, actually, for a matter of fact, is over 500 right now in the American League East, with the Yankees barely staying ahead after edging out the New York Yankees last night. The Yankees edged out the Blue Jays last night to stay in first. So, and that was the graphic I was actually wishing you'd pull up. I mean, look at that. Yankees sit, for those that are listening, Yankees sit at 13-6, Orioles 12-6. The Blue Jays, Rays, and Red Sox all have an identical record at 10-9. So you're looking at that. It's truly amazing. And for the Red Sox, by the way, they're pitching the hell out of the ball. Tanner Houck threw a no-hitter, or not no-hitter, sorry.
Shutout.
A complete game shutout, 94 pitches in
That's
an hour
Maddox.
and 49 minutes.
Little Maddox to start your Wednesday. And fun fact, every single team in the AL West would be in last place in the AL East. So even who is leading that right now? I think it is the Rangers, but they would be in last place right now in the AL East at 10-9, or tied for last place. So just shows you just how talented even the teams like the Red Sox that you were like, oh, these are the pushovers. This is last place in the division. Guys like Jeff Passan, guys like Tim Kirchin, Buster Olney have come on the show. If you haven't watched those, go back and watch those, and talked about, hey, yeah, the Red Sox, I'm not saying are going to make any moves, aren't going to go and make the playoffs, but that's not a bad baseball team. So once again, it's the AFC North all over again for football now in baseball. Baltimore sports just are permanently stuck in the most competitive divisions of all time.
Yeah, and it's not going anywhere, right? I mean, because you're looking at this, and I want people to understand. I mean, New York is a really good team, and it's frustrating because you're like, damn, Toronto. And I know Orioles fans don't really like the Blue Jays right now. I get it. There's been I love the rivalries with it, but for the Yankees, they did sneak one out, and this is what they've done so far this year. They've found ways to win close games. Like, they've earned those victories, and they're doing it, keeping in mind, without having Garrett Cole. We're talking about the Orioles missing some guys. I mean, Garrett Cole's the best pitcher in the American League, arguably the best pitcher in all of baseball, and he's out for them right now, and they're finding ways. I mean, Juan Soto is everything the Yankees would hope and more. And Aaron Judge, who hadn't been swinging the bat well at all, actually is the one that comes through to put the Blue Jays ahead for good, to put the Yankees ahead for good against the Blue Jays. And context here, the Orioles went on the road and won 3 divisional games in Boston. That matters. So people keep that in mind. That matters here. And the Orioles eventually are going to get into their slate of games, actually their first American League home series, if I'm not mistaken, of the American League East, I should say, is the Yankees coming to town here in about 10 days, I believe. They come to Baltimore.
That's going to be a great series. I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
Most likely going to be not for first place, because obviously such a long season, but at the rate it's looking like, it would be the winner of that series could potentially take over as first place in the AL East. So it's just great competitive baseball. Like, obviously, I would love for the Orioles to be in a crappy division where they could win 85 games and that gets them the division, but that's not the case. You're going to have to play good teams every single time you go out there in the AL East. That's what makes it fun.
Yeah, and also for a little bit of context here, because I love young players, we'll get to it again. You know, Anthony Volpe, by the way, tremendous player for the Yankees. He's playing really well. Great play to end the game. I mean, you look at the talent, and there's Bo Bichette and Vlad Guerrero Jr. And I know Vlad's a great player. I don't care what people say. He's a great hitter. There's star power everywhere in the American League East. And now the Orioles, they're right there they might arguably have the most star power when you look at it when it's all said and done. But it's a really loaded division. And one thing, the team that actually you probably can't name more than 5 players in their starting roster, starting 9, is the Tampa Bay Rays. You just don't know what the hell they're doing. But what's funny is, if you have heard a name, it's Pete Fairbanks, their closer, because if you haven't watched him, he is one of the better closers in baseball, but he is a must-see interviewed every time he talks because he's so blunt. And actually, he blew a save the other night. Yeah. And we have the video of Pete Fairbanks describing how he pitched that evening. So we want to play it for you guys, and we'll react on the other side.
Just a matter of command, location, selection, anything specific?
No, I thought it generally sucked.
I didn't think it was a specific suck. I thought it was like an all-encompassing type of suck. So, we're going to try and rectify that. But for right now, I'm going to be pretty pissed about it.
Pete, where do you kind of go from here? Is it looking at tape? Is it going through mechanics? Where do you kind of go from here?
You tell me. I've tried that. If you got an answer, I'd love to hear. Just, not going to let it beat me up for, I'll maybe give it till 10. It's 9:44 right now. We'll give it 16 minutes of salt, and then we'll, get back on the bump and figure it out.
I love the bluntness.
That was hilarious.
I love that shit. And look, honestly, I hate that he's pissed off because I know what it's like to not do well. Like you can hear the frustration, but what I loved is he's unfiltered. He's telling you how he feels. He's not sugarcoating it, but he was also very self-reflecting and being like, yeah, I sucked. Yeah. Nothing was good about what I did. But this isn't the only time he's done this. He's done this multiple times. So for baseball fans out there, you should go and watch some more Pete Fairbanks interviews. They're absolutely hysterical. But the Tampa Bay Rays, real quickly, Zach, this is a team that's still in the hunt and doing a lot of things because they're just one of the most well-run organizations in all baseball.
They are by far the most annoying organization in all of Major League Baseball because they will lose everybody. Tyler Glass now goes over to the Dodgers. They get rid of Emmanuel Margot. He's now went from Dodgers then to trade to the Twins. They lose all these guys every single year, and then they just call up and talk about injuries. I think their entire starting rotation had Tommy John last year, but it does not matter who they put out there. They are going to win 90 games. They are probably the best run organization in all of baseball. It doesn't matter. They will have 26 no-name players on opening day. And then by the end of the season, you're like, wow, how'd they get 9 all-stars? But it's the same guys. It's just, it's incredible.
And a terrible fan base.
Yeah. Terrible stadium.
It's funny on 105.7 The Fan with Bob Haney when we do Baltimore baseball tonight and they play Tampa. But we have to do the weather. The weather's sponsored. And Bob's like, all right, weather report. Yeah, well, they play in a dome in St. Petersburg, not even Tampa, but it is 95 degrees outside. It's probably 70 indoors. Like, it always makes me laugh. But yeah, I mean, playing down in Florida in general, like it's just not a place where everyone's like, yep, I want to go there. The Trop is not a great ballpark, man. It's just not. It's not it.
I don't like stadiums where you can hit a ball so high that it hits the catwalk up there, and then they have to make a ruling on it. Like, okay, was it going to go out? Is it a ground rule double? What is it? Sometimes you have to play it off stuff. Like, it's just, I agree. Tampa, they need to be near Tampa. I don't think it's one of those things. I know people are like, send them to Canada, replace the Expos, Montreal. I don't think that. Keep them in Tampa, keep them around that area, but get those guys a new stadium, please.
Yeah, it's like the scoreboard at AT&T when the punts used to hit the huge scoreboard early, and everyone's like, well, was it going to be a touchback? Was it going to be inside?
Yeah.
And you can't because
then they just replay those. They're literally like repunt.
So I agree. Yeah.
Play the ball as it lies.